Yes, this is after the flag. We have witnessed a COTA Classic here in Austin, Texas. The best MotoGP race of the season so far, and quite possibly the best for many, many years. Maverick Vinales has won the Grand Prix of the Americas, but as you're going to hear over the next half an hour, that doesn't even come close to telling the story of the Grand Prix that we just witnessed. Lewis Suddaby and Jack Appleyard are going to chew the fat of the Grand Prix that we've just watched. We'll certainly try over the next half an hour, because where do we even start to pick the bones out of that one?
A very good question. I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. What a race it was. I think we do have to start with the eventual race winner, Maverick Vinales. Just spoke to him in Parc Fermé then, and the emotion was evident. It was etched on his face. What a journey it has been from him. We all remember those images from the Red Bull ring and the consequences of that. He was unceremoniously sacked by Yamaha, and he's left without a team, without a future. Aprilia picked him up, the only people to put their arm around him, look after him and say, you are now a part of our family. And he has delivered, finally, on all of that promise that he's shown to Aprilia. There were question marks even when he signed this latest contract during 2022, people thinking, you know, he's been given enough opportunity on the Aprilia to show what he's capable of doing, and it never came. But Aprilia were unnerving. They've always stood by Massimo Rivola. Every time I've had the opportunity to speak to him in pit lane about the links with Fabio Quartararo or other big name riders as well, he said, our faith, our trust is solely in Maverick. And finally, that trust has paid off, and in some style as well, because he didn't do it the easy way.
Now that's the big point. If you look at the results, having not watched the race, first of all, go and watch it. But also, the pole man won the race. The rider who started second finished second. But Maverick Vinales was 11th at the end of the first sector. Going into turn one, they went three abreast. Martin, Bagnaia, and Vinales all making contact. This is the very start of the race. Bagnaia going up the inside of Vinales. Contact between the three of them. And Maverick Vinales going back to 11th on the first lap of the race. And as you say, many, many times Maverick Vinales wouldn't have come back from that.
All as a consequence as well, Maverick saying that there was an age-old issue for him and the Aprilia, the clutch just not giving him the start that he needed, and as a result he was pretty much mid-pack going into that first corner. And when you're mid-pack, you can get involved in incidents like he did. But you're right in what you say. In yesteryear, maybe Maverick Vinales would have thrown in the towel and said, well, today's not my day. How am I going to come back through from 11th on the grid? But there was so much hunger, so much determination, so much perseverance there, which has been questioned of him by few members in the paddock, few members of the media as well. Well, he certainly silenced those critics today with that kind of ride.
Certainly did. This is his coming through past Pecco Bagnaia. This was for fourth place at the moment. There were so many overtakes in the first half of that Grand Prix, so much excitement. The first half of that Grand Prix resembled more of a Moto3 race, didn't it?
It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, in part down to the antics of Pedro Acosta and Marc Marquez, who were both as aggressive as you can possibly be, not giving an inch to anybody. And at one point I was stood there looking at the screen and seeing a top five of Acosta, Martin, Bagnaia, Marquez and Vinales, and thinking, wow, this is only round three. What a season we are in for.
Yeah, fantastic season. Jorge Martin does lead the World Championship away from Austin, Texas, just 20 points ahead of Enea Bastianini, but any one of 5 or 6 riders look like championship contenders at the moment. This is Vinales going through on Martin for second place, and this finally was the race-winning overtake. Pedro Acosta, such a good defensive rider during that Grand Prix. So many times he was passed, but he immediately repassed, but Vinales coming through to take the victory. And back in pre-season testing, Vinales wasn't happy initially. When we go back to the Sepang test, Vinales wasn't as happy as Aleix Espargaro was with his 2024 Aprilia, but we've seen now over 2 consecutive Grand Prix weekends, because he was likely to finish second in the previous Grand Prix in Portimao had he got to the checker flag without those gearbox problems. So this was clearly no fluke, nor was it a fluke for Pedro Acosta, who led for the very first time in MotoGP. He took second place, and he's speaking down to Matt Burt.
Yeah, amazing to think it's just his third MotoGP race. He led it for the first time. Amazing fight throughout with Marc Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Bastianini, Jorge Martin, Pedro. Your best result so far. How special was that, though, to lead your first race in MotoGP?
You cannot imagine how much I enjoy. I mean, from the days in Moto3, I don't really enjoy like that, having overtakes, sliding, you know, having touches. Super nice race until Maverick passed me. But then he go like a rocket, you know. But anyway, super happy about how was the weekend, how was working the team. This morning we tried the medium rear and we was not really sure about that, but also yesterday the soft one was not really good, you know. And see how these guys believe in myself, close to believe more than me, was completely awesome, you know, for this. Super grateful to be in this team, super grateful to be working with these amazing people. Super grateful to Pedro Mobility to help me like that, because they are pushing like hell, you know, to help me for this. More than happy to be in this family.
When you were leading, it is the first time in just your third race. I mean, how hard is it just to keep control of your emotions? And
well, more or less the same, but I was trying to control myself to don't destroy the tires, because yesterday we suffered a bit when Jorge passed me. And I was trying just to don't make any overheating in the rear, any crazy thing, because if not, you know, everything that you make in the beginning pays off in the end, you know, for this. I was trying to be calm and don't make anything crazy.
You actually led the race twice, of course, right at the start, and then Marquez had just passed you, and then we saw Marc crash into turn 11. What did you see of that?
Super nice the pass that he make it. I mean, super nice. I think he crashed because in this part, in the inside whole weekend was some wet patches, and he was quite in the left. But anyway, super nice to battle with the boys and also with Marc, because I'm learning a lot from him, and he's super talented boy for this. More than happy to battle with him.
Maverick had an incredible pace, as you just mentioned. The gap did come back down, though, to about 9/10 of a second with 2 or 3 laps to go. Did you think that there was going to be maybe a chance you could catch him and fight for the win late on?
Man, I try everything I can to try. I mean, Maverick have something more this weekend. I mean, nothing to say. Super happy from him, because sometimes we train together in Barcelona, and he's super hard worker and super nice boy, you know, and he have some tough time, you know, in the last couple of years, and super happy of him and from him and from his family.
Just finally, Pedro, back-to-back podiums, now 4th in the World Championship. Social media is going crazy right now because of what you've done again here in COTA. It's very, very early. It is only 3 races, but a lot of fans all around the world are saying you can fight for the championship this year. Do you already believe that yourself, or?
Man, let's start to think in Jerez and not about the championship, you know. All that the people is talking around, it's only pressure, you know, and we are in a sweet moment with the bike, with the team, with Pedro Mobility. Let's enjoy this moment and cross the finger for sure if we can fight for the championship in the end of the season, but it's not the priority now.
We'll let you enjoy the moment right now, because we certainly enjoyed watching you put on the show out there today in COTA.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Pedro. Well done.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah, we'll perhaps discuss that very question that Matt posed to Pedro Acosta. I said during the Grand Prix, no longer do we have to talk about can Pedro Acosta join the elite of MotoGP. He is the elite of MotoGP.
He is, and the question of can he fight for the World Championship, I mean, why not?
Why not? He's 4th in the points now, top KTM rider.
You feel that first victory is going to come. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. He's gone 3rd, he's now 2nd. I know it's at round 3, and I know there will be people at home saying, oh, we're getting carried away, but I mean,
why not?
Why can't he fight for the World Championship, given the real mixed bag of results that we've seen so far in the opening 3 rounds of the year? He's one of the only constants. He's been there every weekend, fighting in Q2, fighting for the front rows, battling it out in the Grand Prix. He's got this ability to overtake at will, and at this current moment, I think you have to say he is going to be a championship contender. And I just want to say as well, for a kid in only his 3rd Grand Prix, when behind him on the grid he's got Marc Marquez, Bagnaia and Martin, in particular Marc Marquez to the left of him, making a late switch from the medium, to the soft tyre, which he will have known about. It would have been very, very easy for him, with not that much experience on these MotoGP machines, to have gone, oh, if Marc's doing it, maybe I should do the same. He stuck to his guns, he stuck with what he thought was going to be the right choice, and in the end, given the fact that the 2 riders on the front 2 rows of the grid that did opt for the medium rear tyre finished 1st and 2nd, it was the right decision. I think that says a lot about his confidence in his own ability to go, no, I'm going to go with what I think is the right call.
Huge confidence in his own ability, but also he is a very, very intelligent young man. Only 19 years of age, Pedro Acosta, but you saw all the way back from his Moto3 days, the racecraft that he has, and we saw it in the early stages. So many times Jorge Martin tried to pass him, he immediately went back through again. Vinales took a few laps to get through as well, because Acosta was immediately fighting back. Third in Portimao, second in Austin, home Grand Prix coming next, where he's won in Moto3. There's no reason why he can't fight for it. KTM had one of their stronger weekends there last year.
Jorge Lorenzo has already said, he predicted that Pedro Acosta is going to win his first MotoGP race in Jerez. I think I agree with him. Yeah, it looks like a very brave man to bet against him at the moment. But what a start to the season Enea Bastianini is having. He leaves Austin second in the World Championship after third today. He's with Matt.
Race today here in COTA for Enea Bastianini, continuing a real strong start to the season for you now. Second in the championship, a real good battle today with Jorge Martin. You must leave Austin very, very satisfied with your work this weekend.
Yeah, I think we can be satisfied about the weekend because from yesterday I wasn't really positive for today because I have committed a lot of mistakes during the race, and also my confidence was not really good. But today something has changed. Also with the tire was better, and nothing. I try to push it at the start, but I will lose some position. I've committed some mistakes, but after I've ridden more relaxed, and I will try to close the gap with the group, and rider by rider I'll try to overtake him, and well, I'm here in the third place, and very good job about the team.
It was a crazy race at the start, so much bumping and barging in the first corner. We saw Marc leading, and then he crashed at turn 11. You seem to sit behind Jack Miller for 4 or 5 laps. Do you think if you'd have got past him a little bit quicker, you might have been closer to Pedro and Maverick at the end of the race?
Yeah, to try to overtaking the KTM is very hard because especially Jack, he brake very hard, and well, I have tried 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then at the end it's I'm go, and well, was possible try to fight, especially in the last part of the race. Usually I'm much faster, and but it's okay. This podium, we try the next one.
Enea, it's now podiums in Portimao, a podium here in COTA. You're second in the World Championship. Do you feel, after all the difficulties of last season, that you are coming back to your best? You've got this confident feeling with yourself, the confident feeling again with the bike?
Yeah, with these 24 bikes, I'm more confident, and more, especially at the start of the weekend. Every time I can be fast from the start, and well, better compared to 2022, one of my best years. And I think is good for the championship, but it's early to talk about this because we have many races forward, and let's see.
And it was a good battle with Jorge Martin. Of course, you've had your good battles with him in the past. Where do you feel that you had the advantage at the end of the race? Was it just a slightly better rear grip?
Yeah, it's been a really good fight at the end with Jorge. I see also something from him and from his riding style, and I've resolved some of my problem. No, was good to stay close to him and to try to overtake him, and at the end has been a good fight.
And great job, well done today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second in the World Championship for Enea Bastianini. He's out-qualified Pecco Bagnaia in 2 of the first 3 Grand Prix. He's beaten him in each of the last 2. Although, of course, Bagnaia had his obvious problems in Portimao. Of course, we have a few championship contenders already establishing themselves at this stage of the season, but Enea is just floating under the radar.
He is. He's definitely going up, which seems silly to say, given the fact that he's just picked up a 2nd consecutive podium, but he's not really grabbed any headlines as of yet. He's going about his business in a pretty calm, a pretty quiet manner. But I think as the season progresses, we're going to start to see the Enea Bastianini that we all hoped that we would have seen in 2023. I think above everything else, given how much of a disaster, how much bad luck he had in 2023, it's just good to see Enea smiling again. And if he's smiling, which he is at this current moment, then we all know what he can do given his exploits in 2022.
Yeah, this was his move on Pecco Bagnaia, his teammate. He would later chase down Jorge Martin. It kind of followed the Enea Bastianini blueprint this afternoon, just managing his tyres and making sure he had more grip at the end of the race. Clearly had more rear grip late on than Jorge Martin, who missed out on the podium for the first time this season. We'll chat about him in a moment. But when we talk about headlines, around about a third of the way through the race, I think we could all see the headlines. The king of COTA returns to his throne once again. Marc Marquez led a Grand Prix for the first time this year, but crashed out of the lead. How much will that sting for Marc Marquez?
Massively. At 903 days since his last win in the Premier Class, and because of that, you just felt it was written in the stars that it was all starting to come together perfectly for Marc Marquez. He hit the front despite the fact he was missing some aero due to the early incident with Jack Miller, and then such an uncharacteristic mistake. You just did not see that coming at all. You have to say, in the early parts of the race, he was very, very aggressive. Potentially, on one, maybe two occasions, did overstep the line, in particular
Move on Martin.
At the final corner. You felt that he was never going to make that stick, especially into such a tight and technical corner like the final one, but he tried to stick it up the inside, and I think that was an indicator of just how strong he felt. He felt there was an opportunity there today to hit the front and break away, and then once he'd made this move, you just knew that he was pulling the pin, and as he did, right here, the front end goes.
Yeah, very anxious to get to the front, wasn't he? We heard Pedro Acosta's comments. He was immediately behind this, his view on that, just breaking on the inside there, perhaps on a little bit dirtier and less grippy tarmac. Marc Marquez tucking the front. He was disconsolate after that, and Marc Marquez's wait for a first victory since Emilia-Romagna 2021 goes on. Pecco Bagnaia also missed out today. So too Jorge Martin, who finished in fourth, beaten by Bastianini in the closing stages. Although his podium streak is ended, Jorge Martin, I think, when you offer him the championship standings as we sit now, I think he'll probably settle for this weekend.
21 clear, which after only 3 rounds is a nice little cushion to have, especially going to your home GP. You mentioned Pecco Bagnaia there. I think he's one of a number of riders, Pecco in particular, that needs a huge Spanish Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. Just the form at the moment is trending in the wrong direction for Pecco. He never looked comfortable this weekend, but this man certainly did.
Yeah, we'll talk about Pecco some more in a moment, but let's hear from the winner. On lap 1, he was as low as 11th place at the end of the final lap. He was the winner. Maverick Vinales is with Matt.
What an unbelievable weekend here in COTA for Aprilia Racing's Maverick Vinales. Maverick, the Texas treble here this weekend. Pole position, the Tissot sprint win, the Grand Prix win, and you created history. The first rider in the MotoGP 4-stroke era to win for 3 different manufacturers. You said yesterday you were dreaming. Thankfully, you've not woken up yet. How are you feeling right now, Maverick? Because that was an incredible day, an incredible weekend.
I feel I am in Gotham City. No, honestly, I said yesterday I'm honestly dreaming, and we must dream, we must believe, we must have confidence. Obviously, closing this circle, it's fantastic. It gives a lot of drive to continue working that hard. Obviously, it's not easy. It's been a long, long night thinking and overthinking what I have to do to be back to win races. Finally, I did, so I'm super happy to never give up and keep the focus, and also make believe everyone around me that I had the enough talent and the enough dedication to be fighting for this.
And Maverick, you did it the hard way today because it was a crazy first corner.
Yeah.
You were dropped back from 1st to 11th, and then you made some incredible overtakes. I mean, just talk us through that first corner and you'll come back through the field.
Yeah, actually, this morning I had an issue with the clutch, and the team was quite worried, so they didn't really want to touch nothing. I had it at the same way in the race. But I was not bad. I was 2nd, 3rd, so that was okay. But I see Pecco entry and push me wide, very wide. But because also Jorge was in the inside, so that was a race incident. And after that, I see no, come on, no. This time, no. So I keep concentrate and I keep believing that I was able to do. The way I see, I was recovering the gap so quick to the front guys and to the guy I have in the front. I said, once at a time, man, once at a time, one rider at a time. And I did it, and that was crazy. I was enjoying every single lap. Some riders overtook me again, but I break enough late to make them go wide.
Describe that feeling when you crossed the line, you knew that there was going to be the back mouth celebrations. Sonic the Hedgehog was waving the checkered flag as well. It was a crazy way to finish the Grand Prix. But like you said, Maverick, I mean, after what happened in 2021, you had some criticism. People doubted you, but you've always backed yourself. You've always known the talent is there. And to show it once again, a special, proud moment for you and your family, I'm sure.
Obviously, my family, especially my wife and my 2 daughters, know very well how much effort we put in this. So the only thing that will make us be relaxed, be happy is the victory. And yeah, they deserve it more than me, because at the end of the day, they are the light, and especially it's been they've been the motivation for me to keep going, to keep working, because it's been a tough days. Obviously, not every day is like today, and recompensate them with that victory. I feel that victory is more for my wife and my kids than for me, because at the end of the day, everything is compensated. And for me, what I'm more happy is that I never give up. I never give up. I came back and came back and came back every day, every single second and minute, and also with all my trainers, not only physically, also with the bikes. We've been doing amazing things. So yeah, it's been a long chat, but at the end, what it counts is the victory, and we did it.
And just finally, Marc, it's been a long, proud history for the MotoGP World Championship, 75 years. Before today, only 4 other riders had ever won for 3 different manufacturers. It is a historic day for you. How proud do you feel to be in that exclusive club as well?
Well, to be honest, you are never looking on that, but when you see, it makes you feel very special, because not many riders can do things like that. However, to arrive to the top with Aprilia is, I don't know, I think it's a dream. You know, it's not the same. For example, when you go to a team that is already winning, that you know the bike is fantastic. We arrived to Aprilia with Aleix. We may grow up the bike. Aleix achieved 2 victories, and then leave a good bike, and I'm taking this next step, and it's so fantastic. I need also to thank Aleix to the work he's doing, and to Aprilia.
Maverick, an unbelievable weekend. Huge congratulations on your win, and huge congratulations on your achievements. Very well done. Great job.
Vinales, the double in Austin for Top Gun, and he referenced the road Aprilia have been on there. When Maverick Vinales joined them in 2021, it was only 2 or 3 weeks prior to that they took their first MotoGP podium with Aleix Espargaro, so they've been on quite the road since then. We have seen Aprilia, of course, take victories before, most recently in Catalonia last year. Maverick Vinales, we've seen he can go on these runs. He did it in 2017. How important is it for Maverick and for Aprilia that this isn't just one big weekend or one big day, but actually the start of something?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. From speaking to someone in Aprilia on Friday, I was asking, are you surprised at the form of Maverick? And he said, no. Portimao, Circuit of the Americas, 2 circuits he absolutely adores. And as a result of that, it's all about following this form, following this momentum up in Jerez in 2 weeks' time, because we've seen it before that Maverick can go through these roller coaster, these peaks, these troughs, and if he can find that middle ground and be competitive, or at least challenging in the top 6, the top 7 week in, week out, he gives himself a great chance of fighting for the World Championship. He references his family there as well. You speak about the journey that Aprilia have been on, the journey that Maverick has been on as well. I think it's been mentioned multiple times. He can be a complex character at times, given what we saw at Yamaha and the fallout there, even in his Moto3 days as well. But ever since he got with his wife, Raquel, he now has 2 very young daughters as well. You do feel it's really grounded him and really changed him as a person, and we're seeing the fruits of that as well. Anytime you get the opportunity to speak to him, the first people that he wants to thank for his success is his family back home, and again, he did that right there.
Yeah, and such positivity from Maverick. It almost became a bit of a running joke at times in previous years that he so often said he felt he had the pace to potentially win Grand Prix. Well, now we believe you, Maverick, after the performances of this weekend. We briefly spoke about Pecco Bagnaia. Let's return to him, the world champion. How worried will he be at the way this weekend panned out? He said on Friday it was one of his best Fridays for quite some time. It was followed by one of his worst Saturdays for quite some time, and at no stage did he ever look like winning this Grand Prix, although last year his season didn't really catch fire until Jerez. So should he be concerned?
I think he'll be concerned, yes. We're not ringing any alarm bells yet. It's not disaster territory, but it's not been the start that Pecco would have wanted. I mean, he was so brilliant on the Sunday in Qatar, and you just thought that he was going to kick on from there. But in Portimao, he never really had the pace to go at the front. He made an uncharacteristic mistake in the sprint. And then this weekend, yesterday, we thought that it was the choice of the tyre, that he just was never able to get it going. But then again today, as you rightly put it, he just never looked like competing at the front, which is so unlike Pecco, especially when you go back 12 months, and he was dominant here. So it is a massive weekend for him in Jerez, a place that he's had success at before. He's had a couple of victories there, and boy, does he need one next time out.
We could almost have the same conversation about another championship contender coming into this race, and I'm sure he still will be, Brad Binder, who started this weekend second in the World Championship. He fought tooth and nail with Pecco Bagnaia in both the sprint, which he won last year in Jerez, and the race itself, finished a very close second. I guess there'll be two things concerning Brad Binder this weekend. First of all, how uncompetitive he was, but also how competitive by comparison Pedro was.
Oh, it's a massive weekend for both of those guys in the orange box coming to Jerez. As you rightly say, they stole the show 12 months ago at the Spanish Grand Prix, with Binder being so good, and Jack Miller joining him at the front as well. But now that they've got Pedro Acosta there and pretty showing them up this weekend, they have to deliver in Jerez. And Binder in particular, if he wants to be a championship contender, he cannot have too many of the weekends that he's had like this.
Well, you heard the raucous round of applause behind us. That's because the top three have entered the room for the press conference. So if you're watching us live, the press conference is coming up next. If not, we will see you in a couple of weeks' time in Jerez. We have no fewer than 6 potential title contenders heading to Jerez in a couple of weeks' time after a COTA Classic. We will see you in a couple of weeks for the Spanish Grand Prix.
Llega a la última curva, me tiraba.
De ahí que iba a aceptar la frenada, he dicho, como me metí aquí ya no quiero. Y cuando he visto...
Lo he intentado, pero he frenado tarde. Eso.
Frenado tardísimo. Y ya cuando te he visto, dije, vamos, ya, nada, cabrón.
Me has encontrado muy bien la goma, ¿no? Porque todo el rato...
Hoy sí. Ayer me pasó un poco.
Muy bien.
Porque cuando estaba detrás de Marc, que estaba con